Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a cheeky little bonus live stream. What an exciting day it's been. All Things Must Pass has finally been announced. It just feels like I've been talking about this forever. I had a little look back this afternoon at when I first started talking about this box set, and it was March 2020 was my first video that said looks like it's coming based on information that was around at the time, and 15 months later here we are. Finally it's been announced. So good evening everybody who's joined so far. Thank you for taking time out again. So I thought I did this for the Plastic Ono band announcement a few months ago, where we just kind of, because it's all there's so much to take in, and I certainly don't know, well, probably half of what I should know about this, and I thought it was just a good opportunity to maybe go through what's been announced. Do we understand it? What does this mean? What does that mean? And we can probably all help each other out. So certainly be looking for your input here to try and guide us through what the heck's going on and what we can expect to get on August the 6th. So yeah, here we are. Thank you for a few people who've been sending some questions through already. I think it's the kind of thing that I am intending to talk about. So, well, I tell you what, let's cover some of them straight away, shall we? Oh, Shaker Maker, you're sending me straight off topic. I forgot. I knew about the Noel documentary on Sky One. Completely forgot about it. I'll have to see if it's on catch up. Damn. But anyway, back on topic. So Sheffield and beyond, hello, thank you for joining, as you pretty much always do, I think. I see that the Apple Jam is not remixed. So, yeah, I was reading up about this yesterday. So we know that generally the album is this brand new Paul Hicks remix, and Paul Hicks has done various John Lennon, Beatles remixes over the years, and he's done this All Things Must Pass remix as well. But the Apple Jam, so that third disc, is not mixed, it's labelled as a remaster. Big difference. And from what I was reading, I could see that the Apple Jam apparently was committed to tape in a much different way to the rest of the album. It was literally kind of put onto tape in one go, not multi-tracks like everything else is, with drums, guitar, bass, vocals, etc. It was laid down pretty much as one track onto tape, so you can't remix it really well without getting really technical, and they maybe didn't want to go down that route. But so yeah, it's a remaster of the Apple Jam, but who listens to the Apple Jam very often anyway? I shouldn't have said that, but yeah, it is. That is the one bit that isn't remixed as far as the main album is concerned. Yeah, there you go. I need to stop saying there you go. I noticed the other night I said there you go about 100 times. I'll try and stop doing that. Could be a catchphrase, couldn't it? So, what else have we got? Seal Decker, hello. Andrew, what are your thoughts that the biggest box set is £1,000? Well, I think we've established it's a little bit different to £1,000. It's a bit less than that, but I can't get upset about it. I could, but it wouldn't make any difference. What do I think about it? I think, as I said the other night on, I think my live stream on video, that if the main thing for me is that the music is available in much cheaper packages. That's the big thing for me. If there was like half a dozen extra songs in this Uber box, I'd feel a bit gutted then, but there isn't. So if people want to pay that, they're not getting any extra music. They're getting all this extra bumf, paraphernalia, very nice stuff. Let's not be about the bush. It's a beautiful box, but it doesn't give you any more music. And if selling those boxes at however many hundreds of pounds it is, or $1,000 or whatever, if that helps make the whole project viable financially, then fine, go for it. I'm not going to worry about it. I hope everybody who gets it loves it and enjoys it. There was a tweet from Danny Harrison about an hour or so ago, where he's on the grass, presumably at Friar Park, and he's sat on one of these boxes, and it looks huge. It's not like a little thing like this. It was like a full-on box. It was really big. Cheers, everybody, by the way. Cheers. So I don't mind that there's this huge box, so long as they don't start putting extra songs in these boxes that aren't available elsewhere. I don't mind, to be honest. Personally, I'm not buying it. So I have I've put an order in, for anybody who cares, I've put an order in for the splatter vinyl, the green and black splatter vinyl, which it dawned on me, it reminds me of The Matrix, with the black screens and the green writing that's pouring down. Just from the picture that we saw, it looked a bit like that to me. So I've ordered the 3LP splatter vinyl, and I've ordered the 5 CD and Blu-ray deluxe box set. So that'll give me all the music content. It'll give me the high res and whatever. So I'm really really happy with that. There is a bit of a question mark over this deluxe box set that I have. We'll come on to that fairly soon because I'm going to talk through various configurations. And when we get to it, there is a concern that not only I've got but other people have got. And I'm not convinced that it is a concern yet, but it might be. But we will come on to that anyway. So were there any other quick questions I can cover before I start sort of going through these configurations and us answering what's and us looking at kind of what there is in here? Andrew Galvin, hi Andrew, am I right in thinking the All Things box is the most expensive Beatles related deluxe edition to date? As far as I know it is. I mean, I know that certain things have sold for more than that second hand, things like the Beatles in Mono vinyl box set and the Wings 71 to 73, they've sold for more than that second hand, but as a price on the market, if anybody knows of anything that's ever been more expensive, let us know, because I can't think of anything. But then again, there might well have been something. So yeah, I can't think of any. Classic album review, hi, am I tempted? Well, I think I've just sort of kind of mentioned I'm not going to buy it. I would love it, but it's just it's a bit out of my price range. But I would love to have it, but I can't really justify it at the moment. Tom, you've pulled the trigger on the Uber. Excellent. I hope you really enjoy it. There's going to be a lot of good fun stuff in there, definitely. I'm just gonna go to the end of the chat. I like to keep towards the end of the chat so that people can sort of see where I'm at. But as I always say, if I've missed your question out, ask it again, and hopefully I'll get to it. I'm not ignoring it, but I might not have seen it necessarily. Jelly, the splatter vinyl version is already sold out in my country, but you got it. Excellent. I did figure that the splatter vinyl was going to sell out pretty quickly, and so that was when the announcement came. That was the thing that I thought I've got to get straight in with that, because I could end up regretting it if I don't. The deluxe 5 CD box, I waited because I wanted to see what price I could get it on Amazon, and indeed I got it about £15 cheaper off Amazon. It's since gone up £11 on Amazon, but I did get it at the £97 price. So I was very happy with that. John Norris, do we know if the physical dimensions of the Super Deluxe Edition box is the same as the Macca SDEs? I think we can pretty safely say that it's not the same dimensions as a McCartney. What we don't know yet, and I think some of the photos might be slightly confusing in perspective, which is what I'm going to come on to. The bigger question, I think, is, are they going to be the same as the John Lennon ones? Because that's the only ones that they might be in line with. Some of the photos look like it isn't, but for reasons I'll come on to, I'm not ruling it out just yet. Right, what else have we got? Sheffield and Beyond, for me, it's all about the music. Yeah, I agree. You're not decided what you're going to get. I think a good question from Ricardo here. I love the Imagine remix where the songs were basic without orchestrations and overdubs. Are they doing the same on All Things Must Pass? I don't think so. It doesn't look like that. So, for example, I presume you're talking about things like Imagine piano only or a strings only. That it doesn't look like they've gone down that road from anything that I've seen. So I just wanted to, I'm just going to bring up on screen now. Here we go. I'll tell you what, I'll move my head out of the way so that that's not too in the way. I've just got here a screen of the George Harrison official website store. So I just kind of wanted to go through what's on here. And let's just see, do we understand what we're getting? So this, of course, is this Uber box. This is going to be, well, we don't know how many copies it's limited to, but I can't see. Is it 3,000 as a maximum? I'm not sure. It might not be as many as that. These gnomes look really interesting, and it does look like that some people are getting the gnomes sent separately. that would be awesome. If anybody gets gnomes sent separately, I want to know about that. I know some journalists have had them so far, but that fits. Now, whether that comes separately to the box, because if that comes in the box, that's going to take up probably a fair chunk of this. But this is where some confusion comes in. I don't think all of this is to scale, because look at that vinyl box set here. So this is kind of what you get in the 8 vinyl box set. And then the CD, I just don't think it's all in perspective for size. I don't think you can say that one thing is that much bigger than another based on that photograph. I don't think, anyway. But what I really want to see is, like when McCartney does his archive collection announcements, and he does like a video and it's all sort of everything flying out the package and you see it opened up and everything. I'd really love to see something similar for this 5 CD box set, because it would be lovely to know. So can we figure out just exactly how big it is? Now, for me, I'm looking at this box here and thinking, if the vinyl set slots into there, does the CD box set also slot in? Maybe here, for example, in which case it looks like it's a similar kind of size box, and maybe the perspective of some of those photos is a bit off. Because some people are saying, have I got something... it's difficult because I've packed most of my stuff away now for moving house. But some people are saying it's not going to be much more than a kind of a CD-sized box with the 5 discs and the Blu-ray in. And I don't know, is the honest answer to that. I want to know. It's difficult to tell from the photos. So, yeah, you've got these gnomes, you've got the 8 LP set in there. There's this bookmark made from wood from a tree that's been felled in Friar Park. How cool is that, if that's something you want to get hold of? But in the UK, it's £860, basically, so it is a lot of money. So, you've got to know that you're going to enjoy that, and it be worth it if you're going to get it. So I think that's definitely, Uber is an appropriate word for that box set. That's pretty grand. Before I move on to anything else, I'm just going to have a look at your chat, because I've kind of been looking at other things for the last couple of minutes. I might have missed some things. What have I missed? Run of the Mill outtake was brilliant. Yes. So hopefully a lot of you have seen that now. That it appeared on Spotify at midnight in your own country, and then it's been released on YouTube as well. So it's kind of an early version of Run of the Mill, and it's just completely different, isn't it? It's like 2 electric guitars playing the main sort of riff rather than it ended up acoustic, and it is completely different. So that was really nice to hear. And I saw an interview with Danny Harrison today where he was saying that they've kind of tried not to go with outtakes and demo versions that are too close to the original. They've kind of gone with the ones that are significantly different to give you something very different to what you're used to. So I think that's good, because sometimes you can get these demos and it's like you can sometimes struggle to actually tell a difference between that and the final version. Sort of maybe, you get take 58 and take 59 was the released version. You think, well, it's like 99% the same thing anyway. So Danny was saying they've gone for ones that are really different. So I think that's quite good that they've done that. Let me just get that. I've just noticed that's still on screen there. We'll get rid of that for now. Does it contain a DVD, says Christopher? Not to my knowledge, no. There's a Blu-ray in the 5 CD Blu-ray box set. That exact same box set is in the big Uber set that we were just looking at, but I don't think there are any actual DVDs. Good point from Jay Jackson. UDiscover has a 25% discount. I think that applies in the US. I don't think if you're in the UK or potentially any other country, I don't think that applies. But there's codes that you can use. Is it something like Summer 25 if you're in the US as a discount code, and that'll give you a lot of money off, which is great. And they've even got some discount codes that come with free shipping as well, I think, so that's useful. I saw a comment on a forum earlier from somebody in New Zealand who'd ordered the Uber box set, and the postage on top was something like $350. It was ridiculous. So yeah, I guess you're gonna have to pay a lot of money for if you're in certain parts of the world for this. Yeah, so let me just have a look. What else have I missed while I've been talking? Oh, here we go. This is useful from Nathan. I did not know this. The Harrison gnome is about 1 foot high, so the scale to vinyl looks about right. Okay, let me just pull that up again. About 1 foot high there. So if it's, if that gnome is not far off the size of that's roughly album size, what I've done there. You can't see that, can you? I need to think about these things. If the gnome, that's pretty big. If that's the size of the gnome, that's bigger than I would have expected. So that's pretty cool. So whether they're going to make those available to buy separately, I don't know, because if you saw I think the first time that we saw those gnomes was this photo that Eric Idle put on Twitter, where he was saying that Olivia and Danny had given him these gnomes, and the box said the box was numbered, and it said whatever number it was out of, and it was something like 3,400 and something. So that's how many sets of these gnomes they've produced. Now, whether that's presumably so many to go with the Uber box set, and whether there's so many separate that they're going to put up for sale, I really don't know, but it would be great if they did. Christiana, hi from Italy. You've ordered the Uber box. Excellent. Yeah, it's going to be great. I think from what I've heard today on Twitter, YouTube, etc., where they put up a 1 minute clip, and it started with My Sweet Lord, and then what else did it have? Was it What Is Life? And I can't remember the other one now, but I did a bit of an A/B test where I was playing the My Sweet Lord, and then I immediately switched to my remastered version that I've got in iTunes, and it just did sound, I think fresh was the word that came to mind. It sounded fresh because, I've said before, All Things Must Pass is one of my favourite albums, but that's despite the sound quality, not because of it. I think there's so much improvement potentially that could be got out of this, so it was nice to hear that it did sound like, it sounded alive to me, so that was great. I'm seeing a couple of mentions of my Uncle Richard here. Is he here? I've missed a load of comments. If you're here, hello. But I haven't seen you. I've just seen people saying hello to you. Right, I'm going back to the comments now. Do we know if this is the beginning of more sets from Harrison? Well, that's the big question, isn't it? And I honestly have no information on that at all. I haven't heard. I do know, for example, with Lennon, that their plan is that they're going to do them all. Now, whether that actually happens is another matter, but I do know that they've got it in mind. I don't think we know anything yet about what on earth is happening with the George Harrison camp, because releases have been so infrequent over the years that, this is just mind-blowing that we're getting something this size. And there's a lot of people are not happy with the amount that's been released on this set. Fair enough, you all make your own minds up, but I think compared to what we have had from the George camp over the years, this is great that we're getting 70 extra tracks on the big sets. So, but I don't know. We'll certainly find out over the next year or so, won't we? Will there be a Bangladesh release? That could be the tricky one, just because of the rights of getting permission from everybody who's involved in that. But then, when it comes to Living in the Material World, well, if we don't get anything for Living in Material World, then I think we can safely say that they're not planning on it. But yeah. A couple songs. Yes, you saw a comment from Lennon on Instagram, New York City, sometime in New York City box set for 22. I think somebody just kind of asked, didn't they, is there going to be a box? And they replied 2022 or something like that. So yeah, they're certainly planning this stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But we're not here to talk about John Lennon tonight. That might be me that started it, to be honest. Andrew Galvin says, I know it hasn't been discussed yet, but are you happy with the music in the box that's been announced? Has it met your expectations? Well, it's just words on a page at the moment. Obviously not really heard it, but yeah, in terms of what I've seen, I'm really happy. I'm happy that there's things like Deradoon, which we saw George play on his ukulele sat on the grass in Anthology with Paul and Ringo sat next to him. So it's great to have that in there, and various other things that, appeared later on or didn't appear at all eventually. So there's things like Sour Milk Sea, that's on there, that's going to be good. And there's things that appeared on later albums. What's the one that appeared on? I think it's 33 1/3. Bear with me one moment while I just pull up my iTunes a second. I'm just going to have a look. Woman, Don't You Cry For Me, that's it. That's on there, so I was happy to see that. So I'm happy with what I see on paper, but of course we'll see what it actually sounds like. But I'm really looking forward to it. I think it should be great. Neil, you're most looking forward to the remix of Wah Wah? Yeah, I think there've been comments in the past, even from George, that his vocal was a bit buried on that. So yeah, that'd be interesting to see what they've done with that. Michael, hello from Kentucky. Hi Kentucky. With All Things Must Pass dropping in August, what do you think that will mean for a potential Let It Be, Get It Back? Let It Be, I can't talk. Get Back box. Well, all right, we'll just talk about that for a moment. I don't know anything. I can only guess here. But, you know, I wonder, for the big major projects like this, Plastic Ono Band and McCartney Archive, they like to give each other a bit of space. Other things can get in the way and even come out on the same day, but big projects get their own little space. So, I mean, it could be that the box comes out in October when the book is due. It might be that once All Things Must Pass is out on the 6th of August, might they just give George a clear couple of weeks, you know, to have a moment in the sun for promoting that and whatever? Might they then start advertising the Get Back Let It Be box, because it's then going to be, with the film coming at the end of August, still scheduled for, the publicity that it could ride off that? Or do they want the film to have its own moment in the sun and then the box set to come afterwards? I think it's going to be one of those. I think it's either going to be announced sort of middle to 2/3 of the way through August, but it might get in the way of the film if they do that. Otherwise, maybe it will be announced sort of back end of September once the film's been out, that's had its publicity, for the box set to come out later on. I think it's going to be one of those two, but I don't know any more than that. I'm going to have to open my window, folks, because I'm melting here. Just 1 second. Oh, probably hear the birds cheeping now as well. So warm. Probably didn't help that I've got a big sweatshirt on, to be honest. John Norris, the crate dimensions are 12.4 inches by 12.4 inches by 17.5 inches. There you go, get your tape measures out, everybody, and see what that looks like. Did I see somewhere that George recorded Lay Lady Lay during these sessions? I don't know. I mean, it would have been... When did Bob release that? Was it 69? Was that Nashville Skyline album that was on, which I think was about 69, 70? So it would have been there. I don't know. Maybe he might have done a little bit of noodling around with a nice Bob song at the time. Anyway, I am going to, just for a moment, I'm just going to pull back up this. I'll move back out of the way again. And let's just have a look at that. That's the Uber set. Let's just go back. My shopping cart is empty. Yeah, good. Okay. Didn't even know I had a shopping cart. Let's go back to all and let's just see what else we've got here. So that's the Uber. We've talked about that. Yeah, Uber Boxer 8 LP edition. So let us know in the chat who's getting the 8 LP edition. So just to make sure we all know what that is, 3 discs of that will be the main album remix and the Apple Jams remastered. And the other 5 discs is all 70 of the bonus tracks. So I think this is great that for people who are purely vinyl, that you've got this option of having all the bonus tracks on vinyl, because that's something that doesn't normally happen. Somebody asked me earlier, did they not do that on Abbey Road? And I couldn't quite remember. But again, I've not got my box sets with me at the moment. They're all in storage, so I couldn't look. But generally speaking, you know, you get a portion of them on vinyl, but tend not to all of them. So I think it's great for people that they've got that option of the 8-disc vinyl if they want it. Hey Mazzy, how are you doing? Check out the photo of Danny sitting on the box. It is huge. Yes, we were talking about that about 10 minutes ago. It does look a lot bigger than I was expecting it to. Definitely. Oh, can you hear the bird song, Tyrone? Yeah, it's... I've just got to have the window open because it's just so warm. All the ice has melted in my garden now in the UK. It's just... whew, crazy. So yeah, that 8 LP edition, £192. I guess is it about $200 in America? Again, I often tend to find that I I think that I don't necessarily need all the bonus tracks on vinyl. Sometimes I'll get it if there's one extra disc of bonus tracks on vinyl, I'll get that. So long as I've got them digitally, that's my main thing that I want. And I want the main album on vinyl. The bonus tracks is, well, yeah, it's a bonus for me, is that. So, yeah, if the 5 CD drops below £100, I will buy, says Sheffield and Beyond. Well, it was earlier on Amazon, £97 I got it for, and it's worth saying again, for people to bear in mind. I know if you don't like Amazon, that's an argument for another day. I'm not interested in getting into that argument now, but with Amazon, once at the moment you order it, whatever the lowest price is from that point up to the release date, even if it just dips for a minute, you get that lowest price. So that's why I always get a pre-ordering on Amazon. I can always cancel it, but I got in when it was 97 quid. I've got that locked in now, so that's kind of why I always do that, really. Sheffield and Beyond, could I get the Danny photo up? Up where? Sorry. Yes. Just give me a second. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to, if you just give me a moment, I'm going to do that. Just talk amongst yourselves for one moment. Danny Harrison, here we go. There we go. Hey, how quickly was this? There you go. That is Danny Harrison sat on the box set. Let's just, oops, I was trying to make that a bit bigger, but my technical skills fail me. There you go. I think that looks pretty big. And sturdy enough for a grown man to sit on as well, so that's good. Yeah. So that's your 8 LP box set. What's the next one? There's 5 LPs, so that is, I mean, if I was going to go for, that's probably, this is the biggest one I would consider, I think, on vinyl for me to buy. Again, the first 3 discs, 2 of them are your remixed album, and the third one is the remastered Apple Jams, and then you've got 17, I think it is, bonus tracks. And I believe that's the same 17 bonus tracks as on the 3 CD edition. So, you know, 17's a nice amount there if you don't want all 70. And that'll be in a nice box as well. And all these seem to come with a book, which is good. Let me just remove that for a moment, and I'm going to come back to the chat because I've been ignoring you all on the chat for a moment, which I apologise for. You thought you were going to get my internet history for a moment. Shield out. This is why I just switched the camera off while I checked what was going to come up on screen, because you never know whether it's just going to come up with all bookmarks or something. I looked at something. I was going to have an Amazon page up earlier, then I realised it's got my postcode on it. I thought, no, I don't want to do that. So yeah, you've got to be careful sometimes when you're sharing your screen. Sheffield and Beyond says, any sign that I'll be getting the gnomes? No, nothing at all. And I would never presume anything. I've got lucky once. I don't expect to get lucky again. But if I do, I'll take it, definitely. But no, I'm kind of more interested at the moment in looking at whether or not they're going to be on sale, and then I can think about whether or not I want to buy them. But I'm sure there will be some people who get these, and brilliant for anybody who does. I'm not presuming or expecting anything, but you never know. Anyone know where this was pressed is a great question from Kevin, which I can't answer, and I don't know. I haven't seen an answer to that. I have seen other people asking it. So, yeah, does anybody know where these records were pressed? Was it at Optimal? Was it somewhere else? Whether it'll come in a polyline sleeve? I hope it does, but if it doesn't, like, I mean, Paul McCartney releases are the absolute worst for coming in sleeves that are a nightmare to get your records out of. So I always have a spare bag of polyline sleeves ready to transfer those into. But you'd think for the money that you'd spend in, give us a nice sleeve that isn't going to scratch your record and that you can actually get the record in and out of easily. With Wildlife was the worst one. The Wildlife Archive. I mean, I've had battles that could have been televised fights of me trying to get that record out of the sleeve. So, what else have we got? Pressed at Abbey Road, you believe? Well, it would have been probably mixed at Abbey Road, but I don't think they press anything at Abbey Road, do they? I could be wrong, but I don't think they press records there. I'm just going to pull back up for a moment the Chrome. In fact, what I'm going to do as well is I'm just going to put in the chat, if anybody is still sort of looking at Amazon links, for example. There's a few coming. I think the last time I did this, it went disastrously wrong. So I don't know what this is going to look like. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, I tried. Hi Liam, what set am I going for? I'll say it quickly because we did talk about it earlier. But I've ordered the splatter vinyl, the green and black splatter vinyl, and the 5 CD Blu-ray deluxe box set. So very much looking forward to that. Right, okay, let us go back to George's online store. Oh, so this is the thing that causes confusion now, and I don't know whether the confusion is right or wrong. This is the 5 CD and Blu-ray box set. And this is where, what we don't know at the moment, and I think some people are presuming, and you may well be right, that box there is about the same size as the CDs. So as in, are those of you that have maybe got the Smile Beach Boys set from a few years ago, it's a nice box, but it's not much bigger than the discs. Is that the case, or is this just the way that this photograph has been scaled? And is it the fact that that's actually something more akin to, let's say, the Lennon Ultimate box sets that we've had over the last couple of years with a similar size book, and maybe these CD wallets fit inside the book? And I don't know the answer to that. It's the biggest question that I want answering at the moment, because I think that's really key. If that box there is the same size, or just obviously slightly bigger than these CDs, then that would be quite disappointing. I'm not going to beat about the bush there. That would be disappointing. But it might be that that's not a true picture of representation of what we're actually getting because of scale. So that's why I would really like to see a video that shows, for example, like they have with McCartney, with the CDs flying out of the book, and then you get an idea of how big the CD is compared to the book and the box. So that is a massive question for me at the moment. I don't know what anybody else thinks about that. If anybody, some of you might know. We can all assume and have our opinions from that, but what I'm really interested in is if somebody knows what's going on with that. Red Rose Speedway vinyl was also very tight. Obviously came out at the same time, didn't they? Probably made at the same time, I would imagine. Andrew Mayer says, I think that is the size. If you zoom in on the poster, I love it when people go to the lengths of zooming in on posters. If you zoom in on the poster, you can see the folds in the poster as if it was packed in a little box. Right, you might have a better screen or a brighter screen than I've got, because I can't see that. But if you've seen it, you've seen it. Well, we will see. Sealed Decker, Andrew, do you think the splattered vinyl will be the same quality as the normal black? I have no reason to doubt it. It's not a picture disc. And I know I think they've made a lot of improvements with picture discs over the years in terms of sound, but they are still noisy. But I don't think this is a picture disc. Presumably these are quite unique. Everybody's is going to be slightly different. If it is splatter vinyl, as in just a normal vinyl release, vinyl is vinyl, whether it's green or black or red or whatever. Black is a colour. When it comes to vinyl, they have to put that black colouring in. So it's a bit of a contentious issue. Some people have different thoughts on that, fair enough, but I think it'll sound just as good as a regular black vinyl. Personally, Kevin says it would be tremendous if this was a QRP pressing, but no chance. Well, we will see. It'll be, I think, as soon as that information's known, then I'll certainly share it on the likes of Twitter, for example. So, it would be good to know things like that. But often detail like that doesn't really get known until you've got it in your hands. Even then, it's not always easy. Every gnome should have a home, says Cerny. I agree. My home would be nice. If you look at the... Hi, P, okay? If you look at the box of the 5 CD DVD, it doesn't look like it's a lot bigger than the CD covers. Yeah, I mean, that seems to be the general opinion at the moment. But again, you know, if that's not the case, if we're doing it an injustice, either because of the size or of the quality of it, then let's, you know, that's why they should be getting us a video out that shows us, you know, prove us wrong, show us that it's actually something pretty special. David, hi there, you've just joined. You've also got a glass of cold beer to hand. Excellent. Is the vinyl half speed, says Neil? It's a good question. I've not seen that information yet. And, I mean, the weird thing is that, for example, with the Plastic Ono Band vinyl, which, if you've been watching my videos a while, a lot of you will know that I was lucky enough to get sent that. And along with that, I was having a chat with people involved in the project. And they did send me a message saying, we didn't publicise it, but it's a half-speed vinyl. And I'm thinking, well, great, brilliant. Why wouldn't you publicise that, I think? I mean, that's something worth publicising, in my opinion, anyway. So they haven't said that it is, but they don't always, and I don't know why they wouldn't. Hi, PT, okay. Are the dimensions on Amazon? I don't think they are, Uncle Arthur. I don't think they are. I've not seen them anyway. Liam, I don't know what every different retailer's charging. So if anybody can help Liam out there, if you've seen a particularly good price on a 3LP, then let us know. That would be good. So that's the suit. So that, yeah, this is the deluxe anyway, and that's got the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray has got high res. What they haven't said yet is whether that's 96K or 192K high res. For those people lucky enough to be able to tell the difference between the two. But I'm glad that there's high res on there. There is a Dolby Atmos. There's 5.1 mix, so that should be really good. So, yeah, no video content on the Blu-ray. But the 5 CDs, I think, as I've said, it's 2 CDs cover your remix of the main album and the remastered Apple Jams, and then the other 3 CDs are the 70 bonus tracks, those same 70 bonus tracks that you get in the 8LP version. And also this box, as well as the 8LP version, that's inside the Uber box. So, hi Paulie, you love chatting with Beatle people friends. Well, it's lovely to have you here. Do you think they didn't bother making it easy to get Wildlife and Red Rose Speedway out of the sleeves because they knew they wouldn't get listened to much? I wish I'd read the end of that before I started reading it out loud. Well, I've certainly played mine a lot, and I've come to appreciate those albums a heck of a lot over the last 2 or 3 years. John Carr, Johnny, did they take some of the reverb out that George hated so much? They did with some of it, and I was reading, there was this interview with Danny Harrison earlier again, and he was saying that with some of the songs it was kind of baked in, so they did use some techniques to try and kind of remove reverb that was already there, and he said they had kind of limited success with that. They were able to do it to an extent. Some of the songs were recorded dry, the reverb added after, so they were able to do a lot more with that in terms of getting it sounding how they want it. But he also said things like the first mix that they did was just too bassy, so they went back and sort of tried other things. So there certainly will be some of the reverb out, definitely, but not all of it, I don't think. He also said, did Danny, that him and Paul Hicks, when they were creating it, that they hate the term despectrization, and I think an awful lot of us have used the term despectrization and probably will continue to do so. I've used it a lot. I saw John Heaton's video earlier on today. He used the same word in there, if I remember rightly, and but it's just an easy way, isn't it, to sort of talk about the process of getting something more akin to what you would have actually heard in the studio rather than what Phil Spector turned it into, and he did turn it into a fantastic album, but you know, there's definitely occasions where it seemed to go a little bit over the top potentially. Daventry Players, this is a good point. If you buy the 8LP set and the 5 CDs, it's about £300, meaning that everything else in there, the gnomes, the box, the bookmark, blah 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 blah, cost £560. Seems a lot, and it is a lot, but you know, if you can afford it, for those of you that can, and you're going to enjoy it and you want it in your collection, then absolutely good luck to you and go for it. like I say, I'm all in favour of these things if it helps them to turn a profit and make more of these box sets in future. Definitely. But it is a good way of deciding, you know, once you've got all the music in each format, then it's kind of the same thing with the like the Flaming Pie massive, huge, was it the collector's edition last year, where you were effectively paying sort of £300 odd for a record that was in the other box but on vinyl and the other bits and pieces. And I couldn't justify it myself, and a lot of people couldn't, and that's why it hasn't sold out. But I have a feeling that this might sell out. You know, I don't know, because I don't know exactly how many they've made, but I wouldn't be surprised if this actually does sell out and becomes a bit of a collector's item. The term despectrisation is perfect. Just Danny and Paul Hicks just didn't want to use that term. Definitely. Right, what else have we got? I am going to move back onto the browser here. So we've looked at that. £112 on George's website. Like I say, I managed to get £97 on Amazon. It's now gone up to 108. But if it does dip back down, if you get a pre-order in, then it will lock you in at that price. So that's good. Then we've got this 5 LP edition. I think we kind of talked about this. This is the main album over 3 discs, and then 2 albums of 17 bonus tracks. I think I've talked about that one already, so I'm not going to go into any more detail on that one. £85. That's not bad for 5 LPs, I don't think. I mean, £17 an album is not bad, and when you consider, whoa, what's just happened there? When you consider that you get the box with it as well. Sorry, my browser just went a bit crazy there. So yeah, that's the 5 one. Then we've got CD versions. So there's a 3 CD version. Is it really going to be the case that that box is about the same size as the 5 CD Super Deluxe Edition? I can't accept that in my head at the moment, that they're going to be the same. I just can't help thinking that photograph of the deluxe box was somehow misleading, and that actually it's going to be bigger than it appears there. But I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, 3 discs there, and I'm not sure whether I can scroll in on this, because there's something that's just confusing me a little bit here. Where are we? Where's that 3 disc gone? Come on. Here we go. So the first 2 discs are the main album remix and the Apple Jam. But then the 3rd disc that's got your bonus tracks on, that disc is labelled Apple Jam. So that's a bit odd, but I'm pretty convinced that disc that says Apple Jam isn't the Apple Jam, as far as I can tell. Again, all will become clear when you get these things in your hand, but that's how that looks to me. Let's just make that a bit smaller again. So that's your 3 CD version. Why does that keep scrolling up to the top? Go away. Never worked with children, animals, and Google Chrome browsers. 2 CD edition, that is it is, the All Things Must Pass album, brand new remix over 2 CDs. But I did scroll in earlier, and I could see that this does have the Apple Jam on it. On this is the 2nd disc here, this sort of brownie coloured one, and it's got the Apple Jam on there. For anybody who wasn't here at the start, we were saying that the Apple Jam is remastered and not remixed, and that's to do with a technicality of the way that the Apple Jam was recorded onto tape in the first place, not as multi-tracks, so they couldn't remix it. So they're the various different configurations. There was also the splatter vinyl, which I think I missed out. Yeah, so this is the one that I've ordered, and you can see what I was saying about, if you've seen The Matrix, it's like the black computer screen with the green symbols all sort of falling down. It looks a bit like that. So that's your main album remix and your remastered Apple Jam as well. So I've ordered that. I think that's going to sell out, and maybe fairly soon is just my guess. I may prove to be wrong. It might be in a bargain bin in 2 years' time, still available, but I wouldn't be surprised if that sells out pretty quickly. It does look nice. So yeah, I'm getting that. I'm going to close that off for a second, and I'm going to come back to the chat, because again, I apologise, I've kind of been otherwise engaged for the last few minutes. I'll go to the bottom of the chat. If I've missed yours out, post it again, and I'll try and get to it. Am I getting any of the t-shirts for this release, says Bruce. I'm tempted. Well, for that, I'm going to have to pull back up the browser, aren't I? Because I think they're further down. There was one, not particularly that one, although it's great. The one that I saw, that one. I do fancy the look of that one. That's pretty nice. I can't remember what the other ones were. Yeah, that's nice, yeah. Okay. That's fun. That's beautiful. That would be an option. They're all kind of 25 quid. I've got my Dark Horse Records sweatshirt on tonight, folks. This was from the George website a few months ago. But the one that is the one that if I'm gonna get one, that's the one I fancy anyway. So I may well do. I may well do. We will see. If anybody, no, they won't be watching. I was going to say if anybody who's going to be getting me a Father's Day present was watching, but there won't be. I can guarantee that. Right, so where are we? I'm just going back towards the bottom of the chat, folks. Let's see what we've got. Good question from Sean Londoner here. I wonder what the difference is between the 56-page scrapbook in the deluxe CD box and the 40-page book chronicling the making of All Things Must Pass, which is only available in the Uber box set. And again, I don't think we know. We know that there are differences like that. So they've kind of given us good information in terms of how many page booklets are in each, but it doesn't go into really any depth as to what the differences are. So if anybody does know the answer, let us know, but I suspect that none of us probably know that yet. Is the All Things Must Pass Uber Deluxe box set exclusive to the George Harrison web stores? CJ, hi CJ. No, it's on the You Discover website, I think. Pretty sure it is anyway. So yeah, you might want to have a look on there. I was surprised actually when I ordered the splatter vinyl from the George website. I was very surprised that it told me that the order was kind of fulfilled by, if that's the right word, or sold by Townsend Music, which some Beatles fans will recognise that name. They're the ones who are selling this Beatles in Tokyo box set that keeps getting delayed and delayed. It was supposed to be out in something like March. It's now back to September. But it's them. So I was really surprised by that. Wasn't expecting. And not that it really matters, I don't think. But yeah, I was surprised to see that. But I think it is on You Discover as well. A future, hi Claire, future remix release of Brainwashed and Cloud9 would be nice. Especially as Brainwashed was George's last album. Yeah, I think once it starts getting to albums like that, I can't see them, if they're going to do it, I can't see them waiting for the 50th anniversary because it's just too far in the future. So if they are doing a remix campaign, I hope they speed it up a bit and not sort of stick to 50th anniversaries. But yeah, that would be really nice. Certainly, I would say the albums up to, in terms of chronologically, the albums up to and including Extra Texture absolutely need a remix. Because I've listened to them a lot over the last sort of couple of years especially, and it just sounds muddy, and you just think you can hear for example in Dark Horse some things that sound quite funky, but it's just like it's screaming to be let out, and it isn't being at the moment. So I'm really keen to see what these remixes could be like over the next few years. I'm full of promise based on what I've heard today of the snippets of some of the songs on All Things Must Pass. Like I said earlier, they sound alive, they sound fresh, so I'm really happy about that. Sheffield and Beyond. If the Uber was £250, would you buy it? I'm not sure I would. I flipping well would. Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Especially when you think it's got the 8 LP box in there, and it's got the deluxe. You've got really sort of, like was being said a few minutes ago that we talked about, you've got kind of 300 quid's worth retail value, whether it's worth it to you is another matter, of music there. So, God, yeah, 250, 350 I would buy it. 400 starts to become a decision. But, yeah, I would definitely get that. Dark Horse and extra texture would benefit the most, says Andrew Mayer. I agree. Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. They sound like they were recorded underwater. I know what you mean. There's things struggling to get out that you can tell are there, but just are not coming out properly. I think by the time you get to sort of the 33 and a third album and the George Harrison self-titled album especially, it's all starting to sound a lot nicer from that point onwards. It's starting to sound good. But before that, it can definitely benefit from some improvement. Get some questions through, folks, because I do want to try and stick to kind of an hour limit tonight. I don't want to outstay my welcome, having done like an hour and a quarter just a couple of nights ago. So if you've got any sort of final questions or comments of anything that you want to discuss, send them through. We've got another 10 minutes, so don't be going anywhere just yet. But I am going to kind of wrap it up at 10 o'clock, which is in 10 minutes' time tonight. So yeah, I'm personally, what are my thoughts on this? I'm really looking forward to it. You know, I've been waiting for this for a long time, as a lot of you have, I'm sure. Like I said earlier on, it was March 2020 when I did my first video that said, it looks like we've got clues that it's definitely happening, and it's just like, it's 15 months later, and it's crazy that it's taken this long, but it is exciting because we just don't get much from the George camp, do we? And I think this release is important because it could be the first of a series. It's kind of hopefully setting down a template. You know, we've got a template for the Paul McCartney archive collections. I was going to point up there to them, but they're not there at the moment. They're in a lockup somewhere 30 miles away. As are my John Lennon ones, so I can't point to them either. But you know, the McCartney set a template, even though they've kind of grown in size, but you know, they still sit nicely on a shelf. The Lennon ones, there's absolutely a template there that they've created, a really nice template that you can see going forward for future releases. So this is the first one of the George Harrison, hopefully multiple releases. So, you know, they've got to lay down a marker and say, this is a template for what we're going to be doing over the next few years. So I really hope that these look really nice. So yeah, we shall see. We shall see. Hi Tom, what other releases do you think we may get from George, Paul or John in the future? So glad All Things Must Pass is on its way. Well, I think I kind of just said that for George. I would love it to be the first of a series. I think for John, we kind of know that their intention, and I guess a lot of it depends on if they're making money, if it's worthwhile. Their intention is to do all the albums. So that'll be good. And for Paul, well, I guess it's to keep pushing the archive collection and see how much bigger and more expensive can it get, I guess is the intention there. I mean, where next for the archive collection? Let me know actually in the comments. Where do you think we'll go next? What do you think the next Paul McCartney archive collection will be? What do you think it will be? I think, well, it's tough to say, isn't it? I mean, it probably will be London Town and Back to the Egg, but I don't know for definite. Will it be this year? I don't know. Could there be a sneaky little space towards the end of the year? We shall see. So, yeah, Sheffield and Beyond, it's a good point. The problem the Harrison estate and the Lennon estate have is that they've already released the most acclaimed albums. Is there enough money to be made on the others? So that is an interesting point. I think for the John releases, this is why the Sometime in New York City box will be very interesting to see, because it is, you know, if you asked 100 John Lennon fans to name their least favourite John Lennon album, you'd probably find Sometime in New York City up near the top of the list. Not at the top of my list as worst album, but it would be for quite a few people. But yeah, it'd be very interesting to see what they've done with that. But you know, Paul McCartney, if you'd have said at the start of the archive collection that we would have got Wildlife, that McCartney 2 would have had such a like a reappraisal in the eyes of fans. He would have been delighted with that. So, you know, could the same thing happen if a remix of, you know, a Lesser George album, and you know, everybody has their own opinion of what a Lesser George album is. You know, I could sit here and say Dark Horse or Extra Texture, but, you know, the next person might say that they're the favourite albums. So, it will be interesting to see. But I think Paul McCartney's kind of proved that you can get a reappraisal of what you thought were the albums that he thought were not as popular. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see. But I think sometime in New York City will be kind of a good test case of what the Lennons are going to do. But I think Double Fantasy is probably the biggest hitter that they've got left, for sad reasons as much as anything else in terms of what that album means. So, yeah, it will be interesting, definitely. What was this? Supel of the 3D edition. The 3 CD edition comes in a smaller CD size box and states that the poster is scaled down, and you can see it's a smaller poster folded in 6. Now, I don't know if you're replying to any other part of the conversation that's going on there, or you're replying to the conversation we had earlier. But that would be interesting. Is that actually suggesting that, no, the 5 CD box is actually a decent size bigger? I hope that's what you're meaning by that. I'm not sure. So, interesting. What else have we got? What else have we got? Do I like Mind Games or Walls and Bridges better? Me personally, it's a good question for everybody to answer. What do you prefer, Mind Games or Walls and Bridges? Personally, Walls and Bridges is one of my favourite. It's kind of just behind the big two. You know what the big two are, I'm sure you can guess. But for me, that's next. Mind Games is not my favourite John Lennon album. It's I think he could do a lot better, personally. Right, what else have we got? Is there an album, Beatles related or not, that would be impossible for you not to pay silly money for? And what would you want in it? So if there's something released and it's like I assume you're talking like this $1,000 or £800, is there some album I would be absolutely unable to avoid? No, I think I could probably avoid anything for that price, and hope that there was always some smaller version of it available. I just don't see me spending that much on anything. We will see, but I don't know. Well, we've got some people being answering the question Walls and Bridges. I think generally speaking, those who have said Walls and Bridges. Yeah, cool. So will this overpass Early Takes Volume 2? I don't think Early Takes Volume 2 is ever going to happen. There's Early Takes Volume 1 just behind me there. Was that a cheeky title, you know, using... I know George wasn't around for that, unfortunately, but, you know, using the Wilburys Volume 1, Volume 3 kind of thing. Was it just a bit of Harrison humour, naming it that? I don't know. Oh, P, you'll never give a penny for Pet Sounds. That's a shame. It's one of my favourite albums, is that. Hi, 007 Red Special, I'm late to the party. But do you think the splatter vinyl is limited edition or just exclusive? Well, this is interesting because it did say... So I'm sure there was the word exclusive mentioned on one of the adverts earlier when it wasn't exclusive, because it was also on You Discover. But it definitely says limited edition. I think it's... I mean, obviously the Uber box is limited edition, even though it doesn't say it. But it is. That's not. There isn't an unlimited supply of that, or indeed anything. But the only one that specifically had the words limited edition that I've seen, I think, is the splatter vinyl. So I think that's going to go fairly quickly, because just putting them words there is going to encourage a lot of people to buy it who might not have otherwise. Jimmy Nicol wants a little bit extra for his £860. Well, good luck with that. Okay, we've got a couple of minutes left, so get through anything else that you want to send through before we finish for the evening, because I'm melting here. I hope this has been useful anyway, by the way. Like I say, my intention was that we could just kind of go through, talk about the release, ask some questions about it, figure out what do we know, what don't we know. and just get it a bit clearer in our minds. So I hope that's been useful for you in terms of that. That was my intention for this anyway. So I hope it's done that. Good question from Michael. Are there any glaring omissions from the new box, or do you think they've got it right? I've seen comments about the I Live For You. 1 second. So this is the 2014 remaster, and it's got I Live For You on there that I think had some overdubs that were done sort of later on by George and possibly even Danny. Is that right? Or have I just completely made that up? But whether there's an untampered with version of I Live For You, if there is, that would be ideal. If there isn't, that would be my answer to your question. Yeah, okay. So I am going to be following this release all the way. I will be able to bore the pants off anybody with this release. I'll be doing unboxings when I get it. I'll be doing reviews, all that kind of thing. So I hope you can join me for that along the way. And then no doubt once this is out, we'll then be starting to think about, well, what's next? And it'll be Beatles, won't it? We'll be by the time this comes out on August 6th, we'll be thinking 3 weeks till the Peter Jackson film comes out, and then all the hoopla that surrounds the Beatles release. Time moves on, doesn't it? But for the next couple of months or so, I'm going to enjoy this. Why not? I'm paying out enough money for the box set, so I want to get some enjoyment from it. So, P, definitely, if I find out anything about the size of box sets, I will be discussing that, definitely. Oh, thank you, CJ. Danny Harrison plays a Fender, and he does backing vocals on I Live For You. I thought I wasn't imagining that, but sometimes you say it and you're not quite sure whether you've made it up or not. Victor has come up with a good one. A bit disappointing there isn't It Don't Come Easy, sung by George. Maybe they don't want to step on the toes of that. Maybe they're keeping that for if Ringo ever decides to bring out a box set. So anyway, yes, I'm going to go and watch Noel Gallagher on Catch Up Nathan, definitely. I've got that album coming tomorrow, the Greatest Hits album coming tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. So, thank you very much, everybody. Stay safe, have a pleasant rest of your day, and let's enjoy All Things Must Pass. But this is me logging off now. I'm saying good night. I am no longer on air. Bye.